What's up, guys? So I got your 450 breakdown. I got some crazy news from Kawasaki about a recall or a stop sell. I actually commend Kawasaki on this, believe it or not. An update on Joey Savatgy. He took a big one, and that track was dangerous. And I'm going to tell you a few of the reasons that made this track so dangerous in Indianapolis. All right, guys, so it sounds like we're going to stop doing samples at the end of March for Nano Xtreme. If you have not sent me your address via email with your name, address, and email so I can copy and paste it, you're going to miss out. So you've got until the end of March to email me your address. We'll get you out a Nano Xtreme sample, and you can tell me if this stuff's good. It has been amazing for me, and I think it will for you too. So I strongly recommend you get that over and give it a try. Check out Coach Rob's YouTube channel. He's got an interview with Daniel Blair talking about his whole career. This guy's been through a lot and earned his place in this sport, and I think you should check that out. Head over to Coach Rob's YouTube channel.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
All right, guys, so I got a lot of new viewers, so I want to just reiterate. After the races, I usually do a 450 breakdown and a 250 breakdown. I usually do the 450 first, depending on what happens in the 250s. So today's is the 450 breakdown. Tomorrow I will cover the 250s, and then during the week I get into other stuff, interviews, and any sort of other content that I can bring you. But new subscribers, thank you for joining. And I have to start with the Kawasaki news. So they have issued a stop sell on their KX 450s, something to do with primary gear. Anyway, it sounds bad. And those of you that ride dirt bikes, we know we trust that bike with our life. And if that thing's going to fail, it could cost us our lives. It could cost us our ability to walk for the rest of our lives. It's very, very important. So while it sucks that this is a mistake that Kawasaki has made, other brands have had similar issues and never recalled them. The way recalls work is you get a team of lawyers and they say, okay, well, what's the potential that somebody could sue us if they get hurt when this fails versus what it would cost to fix the problem. I don't know those numbers with Kawasaki, but I just want to say thank you for not putting us through that. I would much rather not get hurt and have my bike fixed than have to sue you and deal with stuff that I'm dealing with for the rest of my life. So thank you, Kawasaki. Kawasaki is a Japanese manufacturer, and their culture, this is difficult for them to do something like this. Whoever made this mistake or whoever's fault it was, it's tough because now they're dishonored, their family's dishonored. It is a weird culture in that sense, and this was a big decision. To see a company as large as Kawasaki from Japan and that culture issue a stop sell, this is big, man. This is really huge. But I do, like I said, I commend them for this, and I hope whoever made these mistakes isn't so dishonored that it can be very brutal over there, and I feel for them on that. So Cooper Webb was back. So he has beat Ken Roczen so many times. I would say maybe 12 times, 13 times. I have no idea how many it was. It's a lot of times where he's caught and passed Roczen at the end of races. It was flipped. That happened at Daytona. Roczen held on. But Roczen's done this before. He did this at one of the races in 2021. Cooper Webb responded. The next week, Cooper won. It was when they were doing the residency. Cooper won all 3 races in Orlando after losing to Ken Roczen. He came out with a fire, and that's exactly what we saw. Even he had a rough day. He had that practice crash, didn't look great in his heat race, but when it came race time, Cooper Webb absolutely delivered and smashed these guys. He is your championship favorite, but it's far from over. Right now, he's got 15 points on Chase Sexton and 26 points on Ken Roczen. Now, that's a comfortable gap over Ken Roczen, but Chase Sexton has this speed and this ability. He could go on a run and win 3 or 4 of these in a row if things go his way. I mean, he's already given away. If you take away some of these races that he's given away, it would be a lot closer series. He might even have the red plate. But speaking of Chase Sexton, man, he has had one rough 4-week stretch. He has given away races. He's taken hard slams. It has been brutal, absolutely brutal. If you told me prior to the season Chase was going to have a run of 4 races that were this bad with this big of mistakes, I'd be like, no, he's out of this championship. He's going to be 30 or 40 points down. He's probably out of this championship. He's just going to play spoiler from here on out. Nope, he's 15 points out. They get a week off. Chase gets to reset and come back for a 9-race championship. If I'm Chase Sexton, I go back and I just try and forget the entire first part of this season. This is a 9-race series, like a chase series, and he's 15 points down. All he has to do is go out and win races, and he can still absolutely win this championship. And this track was one of the most dangerous tracks that I've ever seen. We saw Cooper Webb hit one of the anti-safety blocks, flip over in practice. We saw Chance Hymas just barely clip him coming off that, the tunnel jump and totally eat it. It's despicable that they are not changing this. I know, I've gone over ad nauseum why they do this. It's because they sell those blocks as advertising. They literally put these dangerous blocks on the track because it's advertising and Feld gets money. But I have a solution where they can keep their money. Here's some tough blocks. These are the ones they use at the Paris Supercross. I've gone ahead and done the research. I've found the company. I even have the price for you. They emailed me back and said $2,000 for 29 tough blocks. I have to think whatever they would spend on these tough blocks would be made up in fuel. Right now, that according to my source, they have 3 semis that haul around all the tough blocks. You could at least reduce that to 1, maybe 2. So you guarantee you're losing 1 semi off the road. That's going to save you a lot of money. It's not cheap taking that semi to all these different races. So not only are you making it safer, you're actually going to save money in the long run. You're going to look more professional. Please get these tough blocks, $2,000 for 29 of them, and that's 6 extra covers because we know the covers get ripped off. And I'm sure it costs a little bit more to have specific logos printed on there, but I'm guessing you can cover it, Feld. You make 97% of the profit at these events. And I know you work hard, you're really good at what you do, and I don't have quite all the costs. I don't have Dave Prater's salary, I don't have Mike Mewey's salary. I don't have a lot of those details in there, but it's about $1 million, $1.5 million to produce an event. The take for each event is around $3 to $5 million, depending on the stadium and how much they charge for tickets. Now that 1.5 million is covered by all these people paying for the tough blocks and these different sponsors and Monster. Feld is in the profit before a ticket is sold. So please pop for these safety barriers. Let me just say this. If one top rider is saved by not having the anti-safety blocks out there, the amount of ticket sales, people buy tickets to see the stars. If you can save 1 star from getting hurt, they pay for themselves so many different ways over. So please, please, please do this. And if it helps, I'll even give Steve Mathis credit so you guys don't have to say, oh yeah, Cooksey got him to change. I don't care why you change. I'm tired of seeing dudes hit the ground. So go ahead, give Steve Mathis credit. Call him the Steve Mathis Memorial Tough Blocks. I don't care, but just replace them, please. Check out Ride Strapped. Best goggles, glasses, shirts, just some really good people. Head over to ridestrap.com. Precision Transport. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport, a family-owned shipping company that believes in customer service. Hit up pretransport.com. Alias MX gear. Get some of this badass gear. And if you buy a set of gear before March 15th, they will throw in 2 bottles of the 3-ounce Nano Xtreme. That's a $100 value. So you get essentially $100 off if you're already using the Nano, which I know a lot of you guys are because I've given a ton out and you guys have all seemed to like it. And the other big safety issue is ruts. Now, ruts are part of racing. The track breaks down. That's motocross, that's supercross. But the level that it broke down last night was deadly. So one of the most dangerous tracks you can ever have is a mud race when it's muddy, but it still has the big jumps that you can clear. When it gets so muddy that nobody jumps, it's not dangerous. But when you're in that danger zone where it's like sketchy to hit them, that's what last night's track was like. It was like, who dared to go for it in these ruts? It was almost like a mud race. And these bikes are so fast. They can clear gigantic jumps with almost no run. They just launch out of there. They have so much power and so much traction. It's getting really, really dangerous. Now, my solution isn't rocket science, but you can have all the power in the world, but if you don't have a paddle tire that they have on the rear, then you can't get it to the ground. It's not as effective. It won't tear up the track. It will slow speeds down. I would love to go back to 2-strokes. I would love to lower the displacement to 350, but look at what the 250s can do. I don't think that's going to slow it down that much. And I've talked to Dunlop about this. Within a year, they could have a rotating out. They could get a tire with a 3/4 inch or maybe limit to an inch height on the knob or less. They said the tire will get almost as much traction as it does now, but it won't shred the track, which makes for safer racing. So you're going to slow it down just a hair, and then you're going to also keep the track together. And if you do this at local tracks, think about how many local tracks get frustrated because their track just gets shredded and they have to completely rebuild that thing over and over. If everybody used a tire that was a lower knob height, it wouldn't tear up as bad. It's always going to get torn up. It's motocross, supercross, there's dirt bike racing. It's going to get torn up, but it's getting to a level that we need to take action. These paddle tires are too much. And I hear a lot of you guys say, oh, I'm not doing that because then I have to replace my tire more often if the knob's low. Well, unless you've ridden recently, tires don't wear down like they used to. Like in the 80s and 90s, when you replaced your tire when the knob got small. Now, you don't necessarily worry about the knob getting small. They're so durable and so big that you don't worry about them wearing down. What you do is you find them missing. They break off of the carcass. So you don't have to replace your tire when the knob wears down. It's when it breaks the knob off the tire. So you're still going to get almost the same life, if not more, with a smaller knob on these tires. I don't see the downfall to this. I don't understand why they won't make this change either, or why nobody has even looked at this. And then you see the guys just getting hammered with roost. Have you ever seen one of these guys when they take their shirt off after the race? They look like they stood shirtless in front of a bunch of, like a paintball team, and they just went at it. It's nasty. And they're throwing tear-offs every 2 seconds because the scoop tire spins that dirt right up into their faces. With a smaller knob, you're still going to get roost and you're still going to get hit, but it will just lower the intensity just a touch on that, so you could have closer racing. You could pull up on a guy quicker without getting blasted in the face. So I'm not sure why they don't look at these two items. They're two easy fixes to make supercross racing more exciting and safer. Now back to the racing. Justin Cooper. This dude stepped up. He is quietly becoming one of the top guys. If he can ever figure out how to skim whoops on these harder packed tracks, he might win races. He's that good. He went fast enough last night. Had he gotten the whole shot, he might have won this race. He's right there. He is so talented. What I'm excited about is Justin Cooper getting comfortable on that Yamaha 450. Nobody's really talking about him for a championship threat outdoors. People forget how good he was outdoors. He won so many motos. I know he didn't get very many overalls because he seemed to always win the first moto and lose the second moto. But he was close to a championship almost every single year in that 250 class. He was good outdoors. And I know he's not bad at Supercross, but outdoors, Justin Cooper is a specialist. I think he might win that outdoor championship. And it's nice to see Justin Barcia looking like Bam Bam. He's out there battling hard, and he's got a bit of a mean streak in him. He's one of the nicest guys you'll talk to off the track. But on the track, you can see the mean streak. He almost enjoys slamming and putting people down. It's just who he is. And when he lets that mean streak out, he rides better. He rides looser. And it wasn't incredibly dirty what he did to Aaron Plessinger. He came in there and he stopped because he knew Plessinger was cutting down. Yes, it was kind of a dirty move, and that was definitely his mean streak coming out, but it wasn't egregious. And Plessinger should have known better. But if Justin Barcia wants to get that Ducati ride, and that's something he's been spoke of, he's one of the guys considered for that new Ducati team, he has got to continue these type of results, get on the podium, and show he can still be a top guy. Plessinger, he's riding good. He got all that confidence from Daytona, and it carried into Indianapolis. He was riding really good. And had he not ran into Barcia, he might have got himself a podium. He was looking really fast. He always does really well when these tracks break down and become kind of like a technical woods riding type of track. So I did expect him to do good, but it's nice to see him getting his confidence back, and I think that will carry over. After the break, I think you're going to see even better Aaron Plessinger. We're going to see a guy closer to what he looked like last year at the start of the season. I don't think he's going to be quite that good, but I expect Aaron Plessinger to get at least 1 or 2 podiums before this season is done. Malcolm Stewart, man, I thought, are we going to see another Malcolm win? He looked so good. He won his heat race. He had this intensity to him during timed qualifying that you don't normally see from Malcolm. He looks confident. He looks like a guy who believes he can win, but you can't start that far back every single time. He pulled it off in Tampa because he had that incredible whoop speed. But on a regular night like this, you can't start mid-pack and expect to chase down a guy like Cooper Webb or even get up near the front when there's that many dudes riding good. And when the track gets that rutted, it's hard to pass because everyone funnels into one lane or 2 lanes and you get stuck behind a guy. And then when you hit lappers, there's almost nowhere to go. The lappers cannot get out of the way. They're stuck. It's almost like slot car racing. So as good as Malcolm rode last night, now that he's raised the bar of expectations, he really needs to get back on that podium or it's a disappointment. And Joey Savatgy, that was a nasty crash. He's updated us on his injuries, and they're bad. He's got broken ribs, punctured lung, and I'm sure a concussion. You don't hit that hard without getting a concussion. That's just part of it. Your body doesn't stop hard enough to break ribs and puncture a lung without also getting a concussion. And when you're dealing with, internal injuries, as long as you're speaking fine and conscious, they don't really worry about your head. But the head is a big issue also. And what's terrifying to me is you're seeing these internal injuries more and more. You got Jordan Smith, punctured lung. Joey Savatgy, punctured lung. The bikes are going faster, they're jumping farther, and they're hitting harder. Internal injuries are scary. You can only hit so hard before somebody tears a heart valve or something, and we see a fatality right on the track. And what scares me about that is that NBC executive telling Daniel Blair, "How would you handle a fatality?" Like he knows it's coming, and I'm almost curious if the NBC executive kind of wants it. Is that why they're leaving the anti-safety blocks out there? Is that why they're not reducing tire size? Is that why they're not doing some of these things for safety? Do they want that for the attention? If they do, it's gross. It is absolutely gross, and I just can't believe the teams and riders won't step up and demand a few safety changes. I don't think that's too much.